Yes.
Yes, Ma'am Sheila.
Okay. All right. So when of course my dear Mirna asked me a couple of weeks ago to speak and give an update about the property market, I immediately said yes without even checking my calendar. She's a dear friend, and she's very special, not just to me, but of course, I'm sure to many women and people out there. So here I am this afternoon, excited to share what we see in the market and share with you where the opportunities lies, especially here in the, of course, property sector. So I'll talk about the office market, which I always say is one of the best barometers of the economy because whenever an office space is built and taken, then there are jobs created in the market. Of course, I'll also discuss about residential market, and all of us here, for sure, you have a place that you call home, and that's part of the residential segment. The hospitality industry also, the hotel, the tourism market, I'll touch on that a bit, and the booming sector of the warehousing market because of the growth in e-commerce. So I'll talk about all that, and of course, in the end, tell you where the opportunities lie and how we can take advantage of that, given the current situation. So first slide, COVID-19 impact on the Philippine economy. And we've heard Miss Evelyn earlier. She talked about all the, what's happening in the market, the risks, the Ukraine war, etc. And the Philippine industry, I mean, the Philippine in general, we're very sensitive to what's going on in the environment, what's happening in the political scene, the financial risk, etc. And I haven't seen the Asian financial crisis. I was not part of the employment pool yet at that time, but I've seen the global financial crisis. It was also hard, but very short. And after that, we've seen the boom in the Philippine economy. And the most recent, we're still in this, but hopefully we are already in the tail end. We're already in the recovery stage. And this COVID-19 is a health and economic crisis, and we've seen the lowest decline in our GDP in 2020, almost negative 10%. However, I don't want to talk about the negative things anymore. The good news is, and we have to focus on that, what we have seen, third quarter performance of the Philippine GDP, our economy grew by 7.6%, and we've exceeded the expectations of many economic managers. So we believe that this is really the start of recovery, and hopefully in the next few months and years to come, things will be so much better. Now, we also look at several economic indicators, and I'm sure you follow the news. These are the things that we see every day, and we monitor this. And as you can see, the hottest topic today is inflation, but according to many studies and many economic managers, it is expected to go down in the next 12 months. Employment rate is also back in the 90s level, and we see that when you go out, things are different. Restaurants are full, people are shopping, people are spending, holiday season is here. The OFW remittances is also going up again, especially this time around. There are a lot of Filipinos who are sending money here in the Philippines for their families. However, the Philippine Stock Exchange Index is not that rosy yet, and this is because of what's happening globally and regionally as well. But hopefully, in the next few quarters, we'll see an improvement in this respect. It will tell us the confidence of the big multinational firms and local firms here in the country. Now, us in the Lobien Realty Group, we also monitor this key real estate indicators. And when you look at these indicators, all moving up positive, except of course for the interest rate, but the GDP from construction is up. And this is why we have a 7.6 growth rate last quarter. A lot of developers again are constructing, doing projects. A lot of hotels are in the pipeline. The tourism industry is coming back. Building permits obviously is up because of this movement. You just go out, you go to the Bay Area, you go to major CBDs here in the country. There are a lot of constructions happening, and that's why the permits are up. Real estate loans also coming from residential and commercial, they're steadily increasing. It was actually not affected during this pandemic. The interest rate is moving up and hopefully it will go down. But this is one of the ways that the current administration or the government is doing to actually cool down the inflation that we are seeing right now. Now, let's talk about the office market and go a little deeper. As shared, it's actually one of the best ways to see if the market is really improving and doing well. And whenever there is a good demand for office space, then that means a lot of companies and entrepreneurs out there are actually expanding. Okay, so very busy slide and but to put it simply, I just want you to understand the relationship of GDP, the growth rate there versus the office rate and the vacancy rate. So when the Philippine economy is doing so well, obviously everyone will expand. There will be demand for office space. That's why rental rates will go up and start to be, go really, really high. And then vacancy rate will go down, meaning almost all the spaces out there in the market will be taken. So, and we've seen that during the pre-pandemic from 2009 up to 2019. These are the boom time for the country. And during this time, we've seen the highest growth in the outsourcing industry. A lot of companies put up shop in the country. Almost all the luxury brands right now are here in the Philippines. Big hotel names, they're everywhere here in Metro Manila and constantly expanding all over the Philippines, not just in Manila, but in the provincial parts. We've seen so many movements happen during those boom days. But then, of course, pandemic happened and things, started to correct. Rental rates also went down. And now, a lot of vacant space out there in the market because some people are still working from home. The POGO, the very controversial topic also, they have left. Some are still here, and we've heard that they might come back. That's a different story. We'll see how it will affect the vacancy rate in the market. Now, on the supply side, when you look at the number of office spaces being built every year, the red bar is actually the number of office spaces that many big developers are putting in the market. They are demand driven. And as shared earlier, during 2009 up to 2019, during the peak periods in the Philippine economy, we've seen a lot of developers put up office spaces left and right. This mixed-use township happened all over the Philippines, all the way, from here in Manila, Pampanga, Cebu, Cavite, Davao, everywhere. And in this 10 years, actually, we've seen so many improvements in the country. Now, when the pandemic happened, of course, these developers also started to contract their projects and stop. Some of them have actually stopped the projects or delayed them. And so we are seeing office supply starting to go down. They're waiting until the market is really hot before pushing through again with all the projects or the plans that they have. Now, when you look at the Metro Manila vacancy rate alone, it's very high right now, 19% vacancy rate. A lot of office space out there are vacant. Pre-pandemic, it was single digit, a 5% vacancy rate, very low because almost all the office spaces in the market at that time were taken, driven by the high demand coming from the outsourcing industry, POGO, and many local firms who are expanding heavily in the country. But some good news here. If you compare 2022 fourth quarter versus fourth quarter 2021, the take-up already have increased from 12% last year, now 19%. And the rental rate also have increased by 20 pesos on average when you look at across Metro Manila. In terms of land value, so if you want to understand where is the most expensive property right now, it's still the same, Makati and Taguig. Some properties would be more than 1 million pesos per square meter. If you want to get an affordable property, you go either further south or further north. In terms of rental also, the most expensive or the highest will be found in Makati prime area. Here in BGC, the prime buildings would also command a higher rental. But there are a lot of flexible landlords today. And if you want a lower rent, you go either, north or south, like in the Quezon City area or Alabang area. The Bay Area also, they have adjusted their rents, primarily because a lot of POGO or gaming companies have left or have stopped their operation. In terms of supply, there are a lot of offices coming online in the Quezon City area, a lot of land there. Next is Makati, followed by Taguig. So these are the major CBDs where there are a lot of projects also coming from the big boys, the big developers such as SM, Ayala, Robinsons, etc. Now, if you're curious, who are the takers? They're still the same. The demand for the office and even in the condo market or the residential high-end rental market, they're coming from the outsourcing industry. And in the past, pre-pandemic, the Chinese gaming, the POGO. Today, if you compare first half of 2022 versus 2021, the online gaming takers or POGO, again, they're increasing. The outsourcing industry, the business process outsourcing industry is still the major taker of real estate or properties out there. And despite the hybrid and so many work from home, etc., and concerns around this topic, they are still driving the office demand. And it's not surprising because the Philippines is number one when it comes to voice and number two when it comes to non-voice, the engineering work, the accounting, higher value work. And we're proud of this. And this industry, this is actually a good news because they are forecasting growth again, despite what's going on around us, the global geopolitical concerns, etc. The outsourcing industry of the Philippines is very mature. It's a 30 billion US dollar industry and growing. And their projection is that they will be able to double. The target is to double that figure in the next 5 years. We're currently employing direct employment of 1.2 million Filipinos. And the target is to actually double that in the next 5 years. And if that happens, then it will be good for everyone, especially those who are participating in this industry or who are in the real estate market, also either renting out their condos or renting out office space. So these are the good news. And I'm sure in the next few years, we'll be able to feel more and we'll be able to see the growth that's happening in this sector. Now, the office market also, in the past, the administration was pushing for the Balik Probinsya, and many big developers have started to actually expand all over the Philippines to actually take advantage of not just the cheaper labor costs, but also land costs. And many outsourcing companies are leading the way. That's why a lot of developers have this mixed use, live, work, play in one area. Bulk of the office market here in the country, they're concentrated in the Philippines, about 8-9 million square meters. They're found here in Metro Manila, and I'd say less than 20% outside the metro, all over the Philippines. And as you can see, there are like 82 townships or mixed-use developments right now outside Metro Manila. Again, driven by the big players. Not mentioning or marketing them, but the likes of Ayala, SM, the Villars, etc., are the ones doing all the developments outside Metro Manila and here in Metro, outside the Philippine Metro and in the provincial areas. Now, in terms of vacancy, it's higher in the provincial area, 23%. Again, pre-pandemic, it was just single digit because a lot of outsourcing companies, BPOs, call centers are taking office spaces there. But today, a lot of vacant spaces too. In terms of rental, it's half compared to, of course, Metro Manila. So many companies are moving outside Metro Manila to, of course, save on real estate cost and at the same time, labor cost as well. In terms of, these are the average rent all over, the provincial areas. The most expensive, they're actually in Pampanga because it's very near Metro Manila and Cebu. After Metro Manila, it's actually Pampanga and Cebu. that has, who are actually very active in developing office spaces and mixed use project. Cavite is very near here, and it's also quite in demand. But a lot of warehouses are in the near Metro Manila, Cavite, Pampanga, and some Bulacan, etc. In terms of supply, a lot of office spaces are being built actually in the Visayas, Cebu, Iloilo, and nearby Metro Manila in Pampanga area. And again, leading the developments here are the big boys, and the demand also, they're coming from the outsourcing industry. Now, in the residential market, and this is very close to our hearts because food, shelter, education, part of the basic necessities, right? Residential is shelter. And we all have this. We either live in a condo, in a house and lot, in a dormitory. So we're in the real estate market as well. This is the BSP Residential Real Estate Price Index, and it was crazy in the last 2 years. During the pandemic, it was really crazy. However, the prices of properties have stabilized. What's the opportunity here now? As of third quarter 2023, the prices of properties have stabilized, but then it's still lower compared to the pre-pandemic. So the opportunity here is actually to look for bargains. There will be a lot of people out there who will sell their property at a discount or lower price compared to, of course, during the hot, when the market was really hot and everything is like being sold at a very high price. The single detached homes and condos, condominiums, they are still priced quite low compared to pre-pandemic, and therefore you'll find opportunities there. You just have to look for the right property and of course the right seller, willing seller also. So there are opportunities there to get right now. When we also look at the average residential prices across the Philippines, houses and condominium, we've seen an increase of 3% already comparing 2021 versus 2022, and then 5% in the condominium market. But there are some locations, those in the red, that are still below the pre-pandemic prices. And these are, properties found in Quezon City, Taguig, Muntinlupa, Caloocan. And then for the condo market, properties in the San Juan, Pasay area, Marikina, and some portions of Makati. So look at opportunities in those areas if you're in the hunt for properties. Now, in the tourism and hotel market, the hardest hit segment of the real estate industry, they felt this pandemic because when the market started to really stop and the travel, everything is nothing happened in the last before the market opens up again. So they were really hit, and many hotels who survived actually learned to repurpose their assets. And even in the past, they were calling us saying that they can even convert some of the rooms for BPO employees if they want to really work there and be safe. And some meeting rooms also were offered. Some use it as a quarantine site, etc. The tourism industry really suffered. As you can see, pre-pandemic, we have 8 million visitors. When pandemic happened, it went down easily, less than 2 million in 2020, and then 2021, almost less than 200,000 visitors. But the good news is, first half of 2022, we have seen more than double of the visitors from last year. And the hotel industry is actually projecting that by next year, the revenues will be more than the pre-pandemic level. And this is good news. And when you really look at the number of hotels being built here in the Philippines, coming from locals and international developers, you'll find plenty of them, not just here in Metro Manila, but all over the Philippines. The big brands, are also expanding, putting all their different types of brand all over. And this is good because they're expecting that the tourism industry, local travels, this revenge travel is actually happening. And for sure, most of you have traveled again, have seen the airport, have experienced taking the plane. So these are all good news, at least for the hotel segment and the tourism industry. Now, the warehouse and the storage industry, I'm saving the best for last because this is the only segment of the real estate market that is booming up to today. And this is because of the growth in e-commerce. It's a thriving industry, and in the next 5 years, high percent growth rate, 8.2%. The expectation is that it will be a 1.1 trillion economy in terms of revenue by 2024. There are a lot of issues still because, in the Philippines, um, our public highways, etc. There are so many things to be done. That's why you have to support the Build, Build, Build project. We need that so the Philippines will be even more attractive for foreign investors, and our attractiveness rating also will move up. So the Build 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 program to have better infrastructure, better roads, railways, internet lines, telephone lines, we need that, and it's part of this digitalization that we are seeing today. And the e-commerce, as shared, is the one that's instrumental why the warehousing logistics market is growing. It's forecast to be a 1 trillion US dollar alone, no, in Southeast Asia. The internet economy is really, really big. Everyone knows how to pay online now. There's GCash, PayMaya, etc. Um, and people now are buying everything online except the travel. You have to experience that. You can't buy it online. You really have to go out to experience travel and tourism. So this is the booming sector of the property market, the warehousing. I was just in a meeting yesterday and trying to negotiate in behalf of a big food and beverage company, but this warehousing landlord, because he knows that the market is really good when it comes to the warehousing segment. There's a very strong demand and very few supply. So they just gave us the contract and said, no, take it or leave it. This is my price. You just sign if you want to take it. There's another, client wanting to get it as well. So unfortunately, that's not the case for the office market and some condo rentals today. Now, finally, after sharing the four segments of the property market here in the Philippines, I'd like everyone to understand the real estate cycle because we're talking about opportunities here. And for those who are participating in the real estate industry, it's good to know this so that you know when to start and when to actually, buy something or do something. So the real estate cycle, there are like four phases: recovery, expansion, hyper supply, and then recession. And undoubted, and definitely we are in recession today, right? We've experienced that, and hopefully we're already in the tail end. Now, if we situate all the four segments of the property market that I have discussed, this is where they are now. So the hospitality industry, office space, residential, they're in the recovery stage today. And what's good to understand here is that when the property sector or when the real estate segment is in this recovery stage, this is where you actually want to start. If you're in the office space development, or if you want to buy a property either for your own use or for investment to have it rented someday also, or in the next few months to have passive income, you have to actually start when the market is recovering, like what the famous Warren Buffett mentioned, right? Be greedy when everyone else is fearful. And the best time to actually buy property was actually yesterday when everyone was still really scared. Now the market again is recovering, but as shared, there are still opportunities in the market today. So in the office market, if you're a tenant, if you are in business and you're renting your office space, then it's a good time for you to talk to your landlord because they should give you better rates, lower rental, or move out if they're still not giving you anything at all, because there are a lot of developers or landlords out there who would be accepting you with two arms and give you the sweetest deal out there. And if you want to invest in the residential market, then look for bargains. Cash is king. There are a lot of sellers out there who would give you better terms if you just show them cash or your willingness actually to buy and acquire their property. Now, the warehouse, the storage market, they're already in that growth stage, expansion stage. A lot of demand, very high demand, supply is not that much, especially the warehousing and storage within Metro Manila, because bulk of the economic activities, they're still concentrated in the metro. And therefore, prices of warehouses inside Metro Manila, especially in the highly accessible locations, they're very, very in demand. And the rent, of course, is also high. Now there are opportunities outside. So a lot of warehouses are being built in the Cavite, Laguna area, and then going north in the Bulacan, Pampanga, all the way to Bataan area right now. So knowing this, I'm sure you'll be able to, time your property investment and be able to maximize it as well. Because you don't want to buy when the market is really, really hot and everyone's buying and the demand is really high. You want to do this when people are still scared because you know that the property prices will eventually move up again and recover. And that's where you'll be able to maximize your investment. And if you need help, this is what we do. This is what we do actually. We help companies lease space. We help individuals and high net worth individuals in either selling or acquiring properties. These are just some of the clients we've helped in the past, and up to today, we're working with them. And of course, if you want to know more about what's going on in the property market, you may follow us online. This is my contact details. And with that, I'll turn it over again to our host, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding the property market or regarding my presentation. So thank you again, everyone.
Thank you so much, Miss Sheila, for the very informative presentation. So everyone, Miss Sheila is now welcome for your questions if you have some. Okay. So just open your mic and ask.
Can I ask a question, Sheila?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Evelyn.
Yes, Miss Evelyn.
Actually, I'm from Zamboanga del Norte, Dipolog City, and we are looking for BPOs to invest here in our city. Do you know anyone who will be interested?
We can, ma'am, if you want, you can share with us your properties or information about what you're developing there so that when we do have specific client who's looking in that area, we can immediately offer it. Today, what we have are mostly looking nearby Metro Manila, so Pampanga, some in the south like Cavite, Laguna, Cebu. So those are the usual suspect, and Iloilo. Iloilo, surprisingly, is very hot at the moment. A lot of outsourcing companies, mining, warehousing, they're developing in Iloilo, and some in Bacolod also because of the labor market, ma'am, in the area.
I hope you can look into if there's anybody that you can also share our area. But maybe you should come and visit us so that you can experience
appreciate
it yourself.
Yes, yes. That's what we do naman. We go and see the place, ma'am, so we can market it well also.
Yeah. Thank you.
Miss Sheila, we do have one question coming from our Facebook viewer. Paano po daw ba i-determine kung kailan po sila magmamahal o magpapababa ng presyo sa rent nila? Kasi ano po sila may paupahan po sila.
Oh, okay. Good question, actually. Depending on ano yung pinaparent nila, di ba? If it's house and lot or office or normally if it's in the office market, you should read and see what's happening, because if there is a strong demand, then you can increase your price. There's none naman, then you have to adjust a bit. So law of supply and demand lang naman lagi, di ba? If there are a lot of takers, then you know na malakas yung binibenta mo or your property is in demand, and therefore you can be a bit strict, or you can command a little higher. Pero kung wala namang iba, like no one's really knocking at your door and interested to even rent your space, then listen to the prospects that you have, talk to them and negotiate and see how much they can pay you. And if you can find out what the others are doing, then that's the best, right? Check what your neighbors have been doing or how much rent they were able to get from the property. Or you can talk to a real estate consultant, people like us, or people that you know who are in the property market, because for sure they know what's going on and they can give you a good advice when it comes to rental, whether you have to increase it or wag na, babaan mo na so that the space will be taken. It's better to have your space rented than not rented at all, kasi it's also very expensive to maintain a property that's not rented.
Thank you so much, Miss Sheila.
Okay.
Another question po. Kailangan po ba talaga mag-hire ng real estate agent pag mag-invest ng property? At ano po yung pros and cons pag nag-hire po ng real estate agent?
Good question again, and I like to answer this because many people would they say, I don't want to hire, ayoko ng may broker kasi magmamahal. Laging ganun eh. But you have to understand that first, you have to talk to a reputable real estate consultant or broker, because madami dyan, nagbo-broker-brokeran lang. So they are not professional and they probably have no idea what's happening in the market. So parang nag-aahente, hindi naman nila naiintindihan. So hindi kanila mabibigyan ng magandang advice. So those two. So first, you look at that credibility, credential of the person that you're dealing with. And again, if they are good in what they're doing, they should know the market. The beauty of having someone, a real estate consultant, is that they have to, they know the current pricing or the past transaction, and you will be guided with that kasi factual yon, di ba? Itong kapitbahay mo, naparent niya ito at ganitong price. So, you know na truth yan. And therefore, when you decide, madali sa'yo because you're deciding based on facts, based on things na talagang nangyari sa market. So yung downside, I don't see any downside because if they will really guide you well, then you'll be able to get the best out of the transaction, best deal, no? Because either you'll sell it fast or you'll be able to lease it fast, get the highest rental if you can, and the best, hopefully best tenant or best buyer for your property if you have the right partner, of course. Yung natatakot because probably they've dealt with someone who really is not professional in the past, and they were just really trying to make a commission out of it. But you should feel it when the person is really working on your behalf and really giving you value, no, by giving you the right information so that you can make proper decision.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Sheila. May tanong po, kapangalan niyo pala yung nagtatanong. Si Sheila from Surigao.
Wow.
She's actually a young professional daw, and as a beginner in real estate investment, saan po ba maganda magsimula?
Okay. Depende kung magkano yung budget niya, no? Yung budget mo. Good question. You have to start somewhere. And today is actually one of the best times to do so. Kung personal yan, depende sa budget talaga. But look at opportunities. Look at properties na hindi pa ganun kamahal. But there are things na nangyayari na in the area. Probably it's in the far area pa, but you know na once, let's say, may MRT na doon, natapos yung LRT, natapos yung kalsada, magmamahal yung property. So those are good investments. Hindi yung, ito maganda na. Pag maganda na, mahal na yon. So kung gusto mo pang to make the most out of the investments that you will do, you have to look at opportunities. So medyo mag-imagine ka, hindi yung, gusto ko yung maganda na. Pag maganda na talaga, may price na. So talk to, talk to people like us. If you want, you just read, of course, look at the government plans, the Build project, yung mga sinasabi nilang developments, etc. Hanapin nyo kung saan yon. And yung mga locations na yon definitely will be the next big thing. Or yung property prices will still move up because of the infrastructure development, roads, railways, yung MRT, LRT, etc.
Thank you po. Meron po siyang follow-up question po. Usually po, on an average po daw, gaano po daw katagal yung return of investment sa real estate?
It's a long-term play. It's not something that, unlike the stock market, you put it today, you can get out tomorrow. Real estate is a long-term play because, land will appreciate in value over time. Hindi siya mawawala doon. I can't say, in 2 years, 3 years, depende kasi on what you'll do with the property. You can buy it today and forget about it and then sell it 5 years from now, right? Ganun talaga siya eh. It's something na you can actually give to your grandchildren. Pwede mong ipamana. Ang kagandahan ng real estate kasi is if you buy it and then do something about it, the investment or the return on investment will be higher. Kung ayaw mo naman, bilhin mo lang ngayon and then kalimutan mo, like, 10 years or 15 years ago, I'll share a story. Properties in the South, like Alabang, Muntinlupa area, the cost is what? 5 times lower compared to today. So if you bought a property back then, in that area, then you'll be very happy today. So personally, I bought something in the South, in the Las Piñas area, 15 years ago for only 10,000 pesos per square. And today I can easily sell that property at 90,000 per square meter. So 9 times in less than 15 years. And you can't get that in other investments, no? Vehicle. So kung stock market, may ups and down din, property market, ganun din. But the beauty ng real estate market kasi when you buy something, especially lupa, laging nandun lang yun. Hindi mawawala yun, di ba? And definitely it will appreciate in value. Wala naman akong nakita na lupa na bumagsak yung value, lalo na kung nasa magandang lugar siya. So, kaya di ba yung mga mayayaman, mga bilyonaryo, lahat nasa real estate market sila. Either may mall, may hotel, may office space, may house and lot, may condo development sila.
Totoo po yun, Ma'am
At may
Sheila.
bangko sila.
Miss Luli Oy, may question po kayo for Ma'am Sheila?
Wait. Okay. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Miss Loli.
Hi, hello. We are in the retail industry.
Congratulations, ma'am.
We used to get a bigger area so that we could have a full category merchandise to display. So, but right now it seems to be customers' behavior has changed. They don't need big space. They don't want to ride jeepney to go to your place just to buy. It seems to be the trend is now they just would buy at the neighborhood store, community store. So we are now, and then there are also online business because of the online business. So it seems to be the foot traffic, the store foot traffic has dramatically reduced. Mm-hmm. So right now, we are now problem with the landlord on how to negotiate for a lesser leasable space, reduce office rental, and it seems to be that we have to change the model to go and lease more spaces near the public market area. What is your thoughts on this?
Very good, ma'am, sharing actually. Miss Loli, may I ask what type of, you said you're in the retail business. What do you sell?
It's a grocery, grocery stores.
Okay, all right, ma'am. Well, definitely the dynamics of the retail industry, it has changed because of this pandemic. You have to be in the omni-channel. That's what they call it,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes,
Not just
yes.
the brick and mortar na you have a store. Today, you have a store, you have a small store, but they want to find you online also, right? People are now into buying things online. They want to see you in either Shopee, Lazada, or Instagram or
Yes,
Facebook. So a smaller space is enough, but you also have to like decentralize so that people can see you everywhere. When I
yes, yes,
attended
yes.
the retail convention also, and the Philippine Retail Association, my good friend, actually Myrna's good friend also, is the head of the Philippine Retail Association, and what they're sharing is that yun nga, the omni channel now is there. You have to be not just physically present, but present everywhere. So your digital presence should be very, very strong so that people can see you online, because sometimes they want to see it online and then they'll still go to the mall, right? Or to the store to check it. Tapos they'll order it online because there is a discount when they buy things online. With regards to your concern wherein you said your landlord is not helping you with the rental, maybe there's an opportunity, ma'am, for you to get out of that space now, because I'm sure there are other landlords who will be more than willing to accept you at a better term. There are some developers who are still fixated, no, they're still like, oh, this is my price, but you know that it's not the case right now. It's a tenants market, so the tenants right now, they're somehow the king. They can negotiate, unlike in the past that the landlord is the king. When they say, oh, this is my price, it's so hard to negotiate unless you're a very big company and they like your brand inside their building. So today it's not the case, ma'am. In the retail, in your business as well, no, the grocery store, there are a lot of competition. There are big
Yes, yes,
companies also. They have entered the market, multinational firms who are expanding heavily, left and right, targeting the mid-income, low-income market
yes, yes,
near
yes,
the mga palengke,
yes, yes,
wet
yes,
market. So
yes.
it's tough po, but what I gathered is that you really have to be strong online also, aside from being in the, well, mall or stores, and negotiate, ma'am, with your current landlord. If you need help, we'll give you advice.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Ma'am Sheila. There are still a lot of questions coming from our audience, but unfortunately, we have a short time because real estate is a very interesting topic, and an hour is not enough to discuss about the opportunities of real estate. So I would like to give this opportunity to thank Ma'am Sheila for the time that she gave us in her presence. And if you do have some questions with Ma'am Sheila, you can also send it in our Facebook page. You can just search PFLCW and we will convey your question to Ma'am Sheila. Would that be okay, Ma'am Sheila?
Definitely. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.